Monday marks a major milestone for the Scottsdale Fire Department. The first fire ambulances will go into service, and this is the first time the Scottsdale Fire will be able to operate its own ambulance service. So right now, the city uses a private company to cover their area. Scottsdale Fire says its first ambulance will be fully operational by next month. So joining me now to talk about the program, of course, Brian Joseph, Ambulance Transport Manager for Scottsdale Fire, and Casey Solom, the department's Medical Director. Gentlemen, thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely. We appreciate it.
Congratulations. This is such a big deal. How, first of all, is this going to benefit the existing department?
Yeah, I think, well, one, we're super excited just to get this thing going. It's a great opportunity for the community, the visitors, anybody that's within the city of Scottsdale. So what we're looking at really is just the operational efficiencies that having your own ambulance service provided by a public service provides the community. Everything from controlling the personnel, the training, the product that we're able to deliver to the customers when they call 911, and ultimately all the back-end services as well too, as far as the supplies, transports, billing, and whatnot.
And as you had mentioned to me, I mean, this is actual sworn-in Scottsdale Fire within these ambulances, so it's, you know, just cutting out the middleman even more so than before, which is great. How many ultimately will be in service once it gets rolling?
So we're looking at a multi-phase status over the next 3 or 4 years. We'll have at nine units, 24 hours. We'll have some peak time units up as well too. There's some flexibility in operations depending on annual revenue growth and all of that type of thing for calls.
I think as a patient or anyone who calls and needs an ambulance, we don't really know how they're outfitted specifically with each department. So how will this one maybe be different, your own personal for Scottsdale Fire versus the third-party private?
So one of the biggest differences is going to be that it's going to be sworn firefighters who are working on the ambulances, so that if there were a situation where they came upon a fire and they needed to take action there, they'd have all the equipment available to do that. But of course, it would also have all the EMS equipment, which is really the day in and day out operation of the ambulance.
I mean, how long have you guys been working to get to this point that we're going to see finally on Sunday the 15th?
I think conceptually, it's been a project in the works for probably the last 10 or 13 years. Ultimately, you know, just within the last 3 or 4 years, we've garnered a ton of community support, council support, fire department support, and had put in our application early in March of 2022, finally getting the end result just before April of 2024.
And how is this going to help the existing department's resources, getting those firefighters back in-house to go answer more calls then?
Yeah, so I think one of the challenges we have right now is that whenever there's a 911 call for service, our paramedics are riding in on the third party to provide that care to scene, to the hospital. What this will allow us to do is turn that patient over to another Scottsdale Fire Department paramedic and EMT, continue that care to the hospital while allowing us to continue the full staffing on the fire truck. That allows us to have full crews for initial 911 response for EMS, as well as fire, special ops, and all the things that come along with that.
And so that was my final question, is how is this going to help, you know, response times? And I'm guessing it's going to alleviate a little bit of that concern, knowing that you'll be ready to cycle firefighters and crews back in, EMS especially.
Yeah, one of the challenges is always the unpredictability of the industry, but we're doing our best to make sure that all of our units are fully staffed with the appropriate people so we can respond to the community when needed.
Well, we're excited for the milestone, and hopefully nobody will need it anytime soon. You know, I know there's a lot of extra emergencies around the holidays, so we'll just collectively say stay off the ladders and please, you know, try to avoid needing these guys. But it's good to see you and have you in studio. Thank you guys for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.